OGFT crew, we're back. Hope everyone had a safe and happy and wonderful 4th. AJ is back, and we have a lot to discuss with him. So give us like 2 minutes, and then we're going to get into the exclusive conversation with AJ about his tour, including meeting the Pope. AJ, good to see you. But also, we're going to see you in person in 1 week. Actually, exactly 1 week from today. We just announced it the other day on social media. We're going to be in Philly, of course, for All-Star, and we're going to be bouncing around, but we'll also have a little home base at Iron Hill Brewery. So just want to let everyone know, if you are going to be in the area and you would like to say hello, you will see us there. Kratz and I will be stationed there more so than AJ, but you'll see a little bit of AJ there as well. Excited?
Can't wait. I don't even know what I'm doing yet. So
that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
You show up, and it's a mystery.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Iron Hill Brewery, thanks for having us. It's going to be a fun time in Philadelphia. People that have never been to Philadelphia for a game or for an event, it's a pretty awesome place with all the sporting events, as Kratz knows, all kind of held in one little area. So it's going to be a fun event, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's all the sporting events are crammed down there, but a lot of people that come to games, they just go to the big parking lot and see their game and then leave. Come down to Iron Hill Brewery and you'll see a little bit of downtown right there in Center City. A lot of cool stuff going on.
The Philly show also will be doing shows there, and same with Is This a Great Game or What? Tim Kirkjian and his son Jeff. So we're excited about that, and the network just keeps growing. We're popping out babies left and right. Mile High Territory just launched late last week. We announced it. There's Troy Rank, who's been on the scene writing in that area for a long time. Very good opinions, very well informed. Ryan Spilborghs is everywhere. Spilly's on the broadcast every day, working around the team. He knows what's going on. They deliver the goods. They had some really strong opinions in show 1, so I encourage you to check it out. Mile High Territory. We're almost at the finish line of every team being covered individually on the FT network. So check that out. Okay, let's charge.
Charging the mound.
The stage is yours because, AJ, you are the Pope's favorite player, I think, and you certainly did play on his favorite team. The only thing I got out of the experience in terms of trying to get some access was it sounded like you were saying, hey, what's up? And he was like, oh, I know who you are. I follow you. I follow the Sox. Give us the goods. How was it?
First of all, it was unbelievable. To be able to go do something like that. I was raised, I don't know if people that know this, I was raised Catholic. My mom is still heavy Catholic. So I did all the things, confirmation, confession, communion, baptism, all that in the Catholic Church. So then to get an opportunity to go meet somebody like the Pope, who is as high as you can get in the Catholic Church. And not only that, just in the world, to be given that opportunity was something that I will always cherish and I will never forget. And then to have my wife and my daughter with me, and then another family friends of ours with us was just truly incredible. I'm not going to say how I got to do it because I don't want the people who got it arranged to get crushed with requests to make this happen. I'll just say this: it was not an easy adventure to make come true. It took a lot of work. It took a lot of texts. It took a lot of phone calls, and there was a lot of people behind the scenes, and you know who you are, that I want to say thank you to. My family wants to say thank you to for taking care of this and making it happen. And it was just one of those moments in your life that you will never, ever forget.
Is this the most starstruck you've been of meeting anybody as far as like most famous? Because you have a Rolodex of famous people that you've met and talked to.
I would say, honestly, listen, I played golf with presidents. I know most everybody in the sporting world. I haven't met everybody, but I've met a lot of sporting event people. I've met some celebrities, movie stars, stuff like that. I will say this: my daughter told me this after. When you meet the Pope, if you're Catholic, you're supposed to kiss his ring, because he has a ring on his finger. And so when I went, I kissed his ring, and my daughter said, "Dad, that's the first time I've ever seen you kind of pause and not know exactly what to do." So I would have to go with probably yes, because not only does this happen with the Pope, but it happens in front of people, and a lot of people. So you're also kind of like, who's watching, who's paying attention? But he made it seamless, and he made it friendly, which I cannot thank him enough. Pope Leo, thank you so much.
What else can you tell us? Like, what was it like inside? What was security detail? What was he like, and how much of a fan was he?
So what happened is you go into St. Peter's. I think it's square, even though it's not a square. It's like a big oval, and there's I don't know how many thousands of seats set up there on when he does his Wednesday audience. So there was tens of thousands of seats, and they're all filled with people. Well, you have to get there at I think we had to be there at 6:30 a.m. and he didn't come out till 10. And you're in full regalia. You're in, as you can see right there, you're in full suit, tie, the whole deal. Well, that day was like the hottest day in the history of Rome. So I had to sit there for 3 hours in a suit after going through multiple metal detectors, multiple security checks. And so I didn't sit where the people sit. We were actually up on the stage area where he gives his address, his audience. And so his stage was here, and then we were just off to the side, and there's probably 50 to 100 people in this little area where we were sitting. Well, now you're just baking in the sun. So thank God I had an umbrella, and then I had a little fan, because otherwise I might have died of heat stroke, sitting there in a full suit and tie. My shirt was completely soaked through. My jacket, I kept my jacket off until we got to go up to actually meet the Holy Father, but it was a hot day, and then your family is all dressed in long sleeve black shirts because they have to cover their sleeves, their shoulders, and their knees. And so he gives this whole audience, which takes, first of all, he comes out in his Pope Mobile. Have you guys ever seen the Pope Mobile?
Oh yeah.
Do you guys know what the Pope Mobile is? So he comes out in the Pope Mobile and he drives all through the crowd. He's kissing, like when they say he's kissing babies, he's literally picking up babies and kissing them and blessing them and doing all that stuff. So he drives around the whole crowd for about 30 minutes. Then he comes up, he does his address. They do it in like they think it was 7 or 8 different languages. They have someone come up and kind of say certain things. They had Chinese, English, Polish, I'm trying to think of all the languages, Spanish, Portuguese. There was like 7. So you go through all this. And then after he's done, then you get your moment, right? So he does, and then he goes and takes pictures, and then they start calling you up one by one to go meet him. And that was when it was like, okay, this is real.
So my question is, all right, you gave the first out ball.
Last out
game. I'm sorry, first game, last out ball. Do you have something more memorable from the World Series that you were like, I should do that? Should I do this? Should I do that? Were you choosing? How did you choose that item?
Well, no, I mean, other than if I gave him like my cleats or my jerseys that I wore, but I'm like, he doesn't really care about that. Like I gave him a jersey signed by me, and I'm sure that probably just went in the bargain bin, like to go to the dollar store. He's like, I get 1 million of these, right? I remember sitting there, it was a guy with the Carolina Hurricanes jersey, right? There's the jersey I gave him. And look, he was great, but I'm sure he's like, garbage. Who cares? For the ball, though, he genuinely, with the ball, was enamored by the ball. And also, when he hands his stuff, everyone gives him a present, a gift. Well, people are giving him stuff. He's just handing them to this guy, right? And he's like, He took the ball and he told him, this goes in different closet, right? Or different area. You could see he told him not the normal. He's like, this is special. So at least that made me feel good that I picked the right thing to give him. But there was a guy in front of me with a Carolina Hurricanes jersey. He was from North Carolina, and he said he held it up to the security guard who was standing there, and the security guard goes, I don't think he's going to care about that. He's a White Sox fan. He only cares about the White Sox. So that was kind of funny. And then the guy looked at me and he's like, oh, wow. But so I picked the ball because if you remember when they showed at the time, he was Father Bob, but now he's the Pope. In the stands, it was at the end of game 1. It was the 9th inning. It was the last out of Adam Everett, who Bobby Jenks struck out. So the ball that actually he struck out was the ball that when they showed him was the ball of the last out when they showed the Pope in the stands. So I said, it was just sitting on my wall, sitting behind Scott's head for the whole time. He probably didn't even know it was there. Just sitting there. And I'm like, thinking to myself, like, what can I give him that he will remember, especially from the White Sox? And then boom, he was at that game. It was that batter. This is the ball. Bobby Jenks has passed away. R.I.P. Bobby. It was 1 year on July 4th. So R.I.P. to him. And he wanted that ball. He had kind of had a little argument over who gets to keep the ball. And I was like, I'm keeping it because I caught it. And so I kept the ball, and it was just in my house sitting there. It's authenticated. It has the hologram on it, the whole deal. And I said, well, this is the game he was at. This is the game that people know he was at. And so when I gave it to him, he laughed and he said, hey, I was at game 2, just nobody knew I was there. So I was like, oh, I don't have anything from game 2, so I can't help you with that one. But he thought it was awesome. He loved it. It was the perfect thing to give him with his White Sox fandom, and then knowing that that was the game that he was at.
Yeah, text Scotty Pod, see if he'll give the home run ball back to the Pope for that.
I don't know if he has
Nope.
it. I don't know that he has. I don't know where that ball is. I don't know that he has that.
He doesn't. He said he doesn't. He's like, I don't care. I got my cleats. He said, I got my bat.
Game 3, I don't know what. So I was asked. Game 1 I had. Game 2 was the home run ball. I don't know. That ball might be in the Hall of Fame. Game 3, I don't even remember how it ended because I got double switched out because people forget Houston was in the National League then. So there was double switches. And then game 4 was Konerko who gave it to Jerry Reinsdorf. So I don't know where that's the only ball that I actually knew where it was. And I just happened to be in possession of it. So it worked out perfectly.
I can confirm it was smoking hot because my parents were in the Vatican the day after you were there.
Ooh.
No correlation. And my neighbor was there 2 days before you. There's no possible way that so many people that I knew were in the Vatican the exact same time, but it happened.
I'll tell you how hot it was. My shoes melted.
No.
I had loafers on and the bottoms melted and they, yeah.
I mean,
fortunately it happened after we had our audience with the Pope. So that was good. But the soles of my, yeah.
Louis Vuitton's melt? I didn't know that.
They're Prada, sorry. Prada.
Red bottoms.
Weight was lost by many out there.
Oh,
that's for sure.
I don't. And also, listen, the coolest thing was he was such a nice guy. I know we have to get to Bob Nightengale, but he was such a genuinely nice person, and it's what you would expect when you meet the Pope, right? But he took time to meet my family. He took time to meet the people that we were with. And genuinely interact with them, not just, oh, hey. Like he genuinely interacted, had a conversation. They were from Las Vegas. They gave him something from their church because they were Catholic, so that their priest, they told him they were going to go meet him. And so he gave him something. He was genuinely awesome about it. And then, the funny story is when I was walking away, I said to him, hey, the White Sox are in first place. And he said, I'm watching, I'm paying attention. So White Sox fans, White Sox people know the Pope, one of the highest positions in the world, is paying attention to what you're doing every day.
Yeah. You've got a little something extra on your side. And it looks that way sometimes with the way the White Sox are playing lately. So that's a cool visit. And yeah, if anyone has questions, we'll post this in some spots. Let us know in the comments and we can try and ask AJ later on this week too. Yes, let's get to Bob Nightengale. Trade talk next.
Look, it's summertime. It's cool in the morning, hot during the day, cool again at night. Rarely am I sitting there going, oh, I'm just going to do one thing at a time. I'm bouncing from work. I'm bouncing in the yard. I'm running to a game. Fabletics has got me with price, comfort, and versatility with all the gear that I'm getting from them.
Yeah, we're talking about premium activewear you'd expect from higher end brands, but without the price tag. Lightweight, breathable, comfortable, built to actually last. And if you're going to Fabletics, you should be joining as a VIP, which completely changes the game. You can shop now at fabletics.com/foul to get 70 to 80% off everything when you sign up as a new VIP. Take a quick style quiz and be sure to select foul when prompted to unlock this offer. This is a limited time offer, so don't wait. Again, that's fabletics.com/FOUL for 70 to 80% off everything as a new VIP. Hey, tough news again for Brandon Woodruff. So this is Kurt Hogue, who hosts our Brewer Territory show. He said Pat Murphy confirmed the return of a cyst near Woodruff's labrum in his shoulder, causing the dead arm feeling that was previously mentioned as a possibility by Dr. Keith Meister. And Murph said it wasn't totally a surprise. Not a surprise. I mean, the alternate thing is he can have another surgery. So, AJ, when he's pitched, he's been really good. It's just tough to keep Big Woo out there right now. He's dealing with some things that I don't want to call it chronic, but clearly there's things that keep popping up here, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, this sucks. I mean, he just came back. He he's missed so much time, and then everyone thought, oh, he's back. They figured it out, and then boom, it pops up again. It sucks for Brandon Woodruff and the Brewers. But just get better, get healthy, and get back. And if it's not this year, then hopefully again. But this sucks. It sucks always talking about this, especially with certain people or certain things just keep popping up. This just sucks.
AJ and I talk about it all the time. Whenever there's a shoulder injury, you're like, it's not what you want to hear. Shoulder is way more complex than the elbow. And a cyst reoccurring, it's just a constant movement, and you never know exactly which way the shoulder's supposed to move. And so when it starts getting stuff going on in there, this is the kind of stuff that happens where things just keep popping up. Unfortunately for Big Woo, it's going to be a little bit more time off.
And with the way the Brewers are playing, you're like, this team's going to make the playoffs. Will they have enough firepower to finally get over the hump and, beat some big dragons in the National League like the Dodgers, maybe the Braves? So it would help to have Big Woo part of that, big three in the rotation.
Isn't that always the question with the Brewers?
Yep.
Freddie Peralta.
Tis the season. USA Today's Bob Nightengale, FT Insider, here with us. And Bob, we have a lot to hit. Let's start with your 7 potential All-Stars who could soon switch teams. And I'll do a theme to start here. So mix in your Skubal prediction along with your thoughts on the overall starting pitching market, Bob. That includes potentially Sonny Gray, maybe Eduardo Rodriguez, maybe Jose Soriano. What do you think of some of the upper tier starting pitchers? Skubal in a class of his own, I know.
Yeah, I think of guys like Reed Detmers, for instance, now with John Mozeliak, he's going to talk Artie Moreno into it, but he's got 2+ years left in control. So I think you get a ton for Detmers. Same thing as Soriano. I think you get a ton for Soriano as well. Gray's just a rental. Freddie Peralta's just a rental, same as Skubal. But I particularly think that, if the Angels can convince Artie Moreno to sell, I think Detmers and Soriano will get a ton back.
Bob, what does that mean, though? Because didn't Artie already come out and say he's not trading these guys? Didn't he already come out? Didn't they say? Now, I know that was with Menagia in there, but can John Mozeliak talk him into doing something like this? Because Artie Moreno hasn't in the past been willing to make a move like that, even though the Angels have stunk forever.
Yeah, we'll see. Why did John Mozeliak go there unless, he was told that, okay, you can have some autonomy here, you can make some moves. So we'll see. Otherwise, might as well just let, Perry run it out, to the end of his contract at the end of the season. So I think it'd be very, interesting to see, okay, can we spend money here? Can we put money back into the infrastructure? And do we move these guys? And I'm not sure you want to move Detmers and Soriano because you have 2.5 years of control. You can certainly do it later on. But being such a seller's market, I think these teams are going to get a ton, whoever starts selling.
All right, well, the biggest seller from last year was the Twins. Where does the Joe Ryan sit with the Twins kind of in that muddled American League?
Yeah, with the owner, Joe Poland, I think they want to kind of stay put and go for this thing. You imagine if they had kept Duran and Varlin. Varlin, I don't know why they traded him. He's a homegrown kid, right in the Twin Cities. He still had, 5 years of control. So that one made no sense. But, yeah, they had both those guys. Who knows? They might be leading the AL Central. So I think here in the ownership group, it's like, hey, we got to get the fans back and everything else. Maybe they don't want to trade a Joe Ryan. They're certainly not trading Buxton. Buxton doesn't want to go anywhere anyway. Do they trade a Royce Lewis? We'll see. I think right now, if they stay where they are, within 5-4 games, I think they stay pat.
We all know the White Sox are winning the Central, so you watch your mouth when you talk about your Twins like that, okay?
Good deal.
What about the Red Sox? Sonny Gray's been mentioned, Aroldis Chapman's been mentioned, but I thought they still believe they have a team that can compete and can win. And after they won the series against the Angels, I think they're only 5 games out of the wild card. Would they still make a move for Sonny Gray? And would they make a move to get rid of an Aroldis Chapman?
I think it depends how much closer they are. Are they still 8 games below 500? I think if they inch closer to 500 and they're within 3 games, then I think they almost have to stay pat. the one thing too is Sonny Gray's got a full no trade clause. There's a lot of places he doesn't want to pitch, so we'll see. Atlanta would love to have him. He's from the Midwest anyway. I think the White Sox would love to have him. But when teams like the White Sox, you'll take on money, but you don't want to give up top prospects that go for it because they went through the growing pains to get those prospects. So you can't just give them up, just go for it for 1 year. But they'll take on money for sure.
An intriguing name for me that actually has club control for next year also, Eduardo Rodriguez, is 4 games out in the National League, which is good for the Diamondbacks, enough for the Diamondbacks to possibly shed some payroll for next year and get rid of the All-Star Eduardo Rodriguez.
Yeah, it's almost like a year ago, Eric, where they were kind of in the bubble. Then they played so poorly down the stretch, they felt they had to move them. So they moved Merrill Kelly and Eduardo, Eugenio Suarez, Josh Naylor, and moved those guys. They're kind of the same predicament this time. They play 4 games against 7 games against the Padres and Dodgers coming up this week before the break. We'll see. I mean, they've been playing terrible except for everybody. Except for the Giants and the Rockies. I think they're like 11-3 against those teams. But otherwise, they're like 10, 12 games under 500. But Rodriguez, I mean, as much as the WBC might have hurt some pitchers and hurt some position players, man, he's thrived. I mean, he went nuts against the Team USA, pitched lights out. He got so much confidence, I think, from that tournament. This is the best he's pitched in a decade.
By the way, who did you just say the Diamondbacks play? The Padres. They stink right now too. So let's just not give a the Padres are going to beat the Diamondbacks. The Padres have been awful. Other than obviously they lost 7 or 8 in a row and 4 last night.
Yeah, and the thing is that third wild card spot's wide open. But it's almost saying, okay, if you do get the third wild card spot, you're on the road for best of 3 series. If you lose, you don't play 1 home game. Was it really worth it to make the playoffs when you didn't get 1 game in front of your home fans?
Well, it depends on who you ask. If you ask the owners, they're going to say, well, yeah, it was worth it because, look, we did everything right. If you ask the GM, look, we did everything right. So, yes, Bob, it all depends on who you ask and what your feeling is for the whole thing, what you want to – the message you want to deliver to your fans. But there's some other teams that are interesting to me. The Orioles, the Astros, right? Some of these teams that are on the outside looking in, will they be ultra aggressive to try to win what you just said could be the third wild card?
Yeah, I think both teams. In the American League, I think it's so different. If you just get in, you got a chance. The American League's wide open. There's no clear-cut favorite. You're not going to the Dodgers or Phillies or Atlanta. I mean, if you get in, you got a chance. And when you talk to other GMs, they say, okay, a lot of times who's going to be the most aggressive? The GMs who are on the hot seat. 2 GMs on the hot seat, Mike Elias and Dana Brown. So, Dana Brown's contract's up at the end of the season. I think they have to make the playoffs for him to keep his job. If the Orioles miss out in the playoffs, is Mike Elias' job safe? So a lot of times I think the most aggressive teams are the ones whose jobs are on the line.
All right, the Mariners. The Mariners made some moves last year to trade deadline. Does their trade deadline moves look different because now this year, for some reason, they stink at defense and they still are kind of meh hitting wise?
Yeah, I think they think that, hey, just our guys just got to play better. I mean, hey, Raleigh hit 60 home runs last year. We knew that wasn't going to happen again, but no one thought he'd struggle like this. But whether it's a Julio Rodriguez, a Rosarina, on and on, it hasn't worked so far, but they still believe in those players. The pitching's lights out. I mean, once again, who wants to play the Mariners in the American League? I think they're the scariest team just for that rotation. They can knock off anybody. They're 1 game away from the World Series last year. So I think they do some tinkering, but they don't really need to make that, big splash.
Bob, there's one name that we mentioned. You mentioned him at the beginning. Will the Tigers actually trade Tarik Skubal? Will it happen? And if it does happen, will there be a revolt in Detroit about them, A, not being able to re-sign him, and B, them trading him? Because honestly, I know the Tigers think, we're close, we're still in it, but I mean, there's still 10+ games under 500. Tarik Skubal only pitches once every 5 days. So will they actually pull the trigger on a deal like that?
I think they wait till like the last 72 hours, AJ. I think they wait till the very end. If they're within, 3 games, maybe 4, I think they almost have to stay in it. And they already have a franchise record payroll. The fans have shown up. I think the fans would be so disgusted. I think they'd take a big hit in attendance next season if they trade Skubal. And then one thing, too, is, hey, if you could make the playoffs, even if it's the third wild card team, you got Skubal and Casey Mize going 1-2. You got a shot. You got a chance to get to the World Series, just like they had a good shot last year. So I think they wait to the very bitter end here to decide what to do.
All right, let's go to a team that is out of it, and it's the Giants. You talked about in your article about how they want Bryce Eldridge to get actual playing time in the field. Does that make them more inclined to push out one of those infield contracts to try to trade him, or is it still just only one deal and that's it? And also, what's changed? Because Bryce Eldridge, when he first got called up, was a platoon advantage guy. They weren't even playing him against lefties.
Well, it's kind of a joke that here's a kid 21 years old and you're using him as a DH. I mean, you're stunning his growth. It's unfair to him. He needs to play. I mean, obviously Devers isn't moving, but maybe Devers becomes a full-time DH or something. I think they'll love to move 2 guys. Luis Ariz, he's a free agent at the end of the year anyway, so he makes the most sense. I mean, he's been everything they wanted and more. Ron Washington has turned him into a Gold Glove, his second baseman. And I think they like to move by Matt Chapman too. You saw the plays that Casey Smith made over the weekend. They like to make room. That would clear up a lot of payroll too. Chapman's got a full no trade clause, so I'm not sure he'd want to go back east, but maybe still stay out west somewhere. I think they like to move Chapman and Ariz and just clear some stuff out. I don't think anybody touches Adames, and I don't think anybody's going to touch Devers either.
Wow, the Giants pivoted fast, Bob. Giants pivoted fast from being a team that was all in to a team that can't wait to get rid of everybody they got in the last couple of years. It's crazy. It's crazy how fast this stuff changes. All right, I got to ask you about the umpires. You heard about the umpires retiring. 7 umpires, C.B. Buckner, who everyone knows, he's famous, right? Brian Onora, Laz Diaz, Lance Barksdale, Marvin Hudson, Tony Randazzo, and Andy Fletcher. Are they getting rid of the old guard? Because these are all guys, I know Kratz knows them. These are all guys kind of, Bob, that I came up with, some of them I had in the minor league, some of them I had throughout my entire major league career. Is MLB trying to get rid of the old guard with some of the new changes and some of these guys? I know rankings aren't great, but is this a way of kind of saying, hey guys, thank you for your service, we're going to go to a younger crew?
And they all volunteered for it. I guess the buyout package was great. You had to be 59 years old to even qualify for the buyout. And I think guys, too, are worried about next year. Okay, how many games are going to miss? What's their paycheck going to look like? Let me get out now before it gets into a labor war. And the interesting thing is, so beginning in 2027, whenever that season starts, there won't be an umpire 60 years old or older. I can't remember that ever happening. I'm sure it must have happened sometime in baseball history. But certainly I can't remember it happening when you don't have some umpires in the 60s or even in the 70s. But, yeah, they are trying to kind of go younger. But these guys are walking away on their own. They're not being forced out. They're jumping on the buyout.
Is this buyout thing a new thing? Because I haven't heard it before, but you make it sound like it's something that's usually offered, just not everybody takes it.
Yeah, I was asking some umpires when's the last time it was big. It said 2022. But not these many guys and not these many household names. So this is a big thing. It almost reminds you of back when it was at 99, when they had all the umpires resign with the labor thing and, that backfired. But just to see, 7 big time guys like that, a lot of crew chiefs walking away. So, no, I do think they say, it's a young guy's game. And I think some of these veteran umpires say, I'm tired of all this stuff going on, and with the ABS system and everything else, it's become a real pain. I'm not having as much fun. Let me take my money and walk away.
Smart, Bob, smart. Much like Rob Manfred picking Bryce Harper as the Legends pick. Even though Bryce Harper isn't that old, right? He got the Legends pick. Is this Rob Manfred saying, hey, man, it's cool from what happened last year in the Phillies locker room? Like, how did this pick come about? Because – again, I feel like Bryce Harper almost could have made it on his merits alone.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't make it. Didn't get the fan ballot. Didn't get the player ballot. But no, I thought it was a stroke of genius. Like, hey, remember when you were screaming at me last year about the salary cap and everything else? Let's let bygones be bygones. Here's an olive branch. I'm the one that's responsible for you coming to the All-Star game. What do you have to say now? So I'm with you. I would have picked Verlander and Scherzer. This could be their last years. I'm not sure, both of them agree to come to the All-Star game, but I thought it would have been cool for the legend picks. Remember it was Pujols and Cabrera back in the day, Kershaw last year. It is odd to see a guy that young being picked. So no, I do think it was a stroke of PR genius to say, hey, Bryce, you're here because I picked you. The fans didn't pick you, the players didn't pick you, but I did.
Do you know how that process works? Could he have said, no thanks, this guy came into our locker room and disrespected me, I don't want this pick? Or is it something that if you're a Legends pick, like they announce it and you're told, hey, you're going?
I'm not sure about that answer, but I think you could have turned it down. Why not? I mean, obviously in his hometown, I was talking about doing the home run derby. So I think we would have been shocked that Harper wouldn't have made it. But unless there were some injuries or some replacements, he wouldn't have, just the way the process is. I mean, actually, the players voted Matt Olson over Freddie Freeman. It was the fans that had, Freeman over Olson. But I think we would have been shocked to have an All-Star game in Philadelphia without Bryce Harper, because he had a heck of a first half.
Bob. Here's my thing, and listen, this doesn't really apply to Bryce Harper, but there's going to be 89 All-Stars this year. Okay, let's think last year there was 87 or some crazy number, right? So this doesn't apply to a Bryce Harper, or Verlander, or Kershaw, but when you go to Hall of Fame vote and when you go to salary, All-Star games matter, even though they don't matter as much. It still matters when people say, people say, hey, did you win a World Series? Were you an All-Star? How many times did you go to the All-Star game, right? So it still does matter. Has it become cheapened or lessened because there are so many All-Stars that are not even elected every year, that just become All-Stars? Vladdy Guerrero's already turned it down, right? There's other guys that are going to turn it down. Buxton got hurt yesterday, right? So he could miss. Mizorowski's already talking about having to miss because he's pitching on a certain day. So has it become lessened from I don't want to say even, not from a players, because it's still special for the players, but maybe from an outside perspective?
I think an outside, it's almost like, you talk to, players, retired players like, you and Eric, in the sense that look how many players have played in the major leagues now. It used to be, 19,000 up to 20. Now it's like 24,000. There's so many guys that are coming up for a cup of coffee, and then, you never see them again. We never seen so many players that have played just a game or two in the major leagues. The All-Star thing, you're right. I mean, you're going to get over 80 players. What bothers some guys, like the managers, is that if you beg to be an All-Star and then you back out, like, okay, now I get my bonus, I don't want to go to Philadelphia, I want to get the 4 or 5 days off, that sort of thing. I know a lot of talk about Zach Wheeler, but I think Wheeler's supposed to pitch on Sunday, so he wasn't, not to be able to pitch in the All-Star game anyway, that sort of thing. But yeah, you hate to see guys back out. I know in Toronto they say, oh, it's it's a team thing with Vlad Guerrero, walking away. But wait a minute now. All those fans want to see Vlad in there. All the Canada want to see Vlad. I think he kind of owed it to the game to to be there and play. I strongly believe he should show up. If not, hey, don't accept that All-Star bonus.
All right, so we're talking about, sometimes we talk about snubs around the All-Star game, and this is the time, and some of those guys will end up getting in. Is there a way that they should change it? Because all the pitchers are just starters and closers. Middle relievers, none of those guys have gotten any love on either roster. Not saying they won't, but none of those guys. It's only premier position pitchers.
Yeah, particularly the great setup guys. I mean, even Aaron Ashby, what's he got? 12 wins. It's amazing. Could be the first reliever to ever have 20 wins. But yeah, the setup guys, get lost in the shuffle here. And a lot of times, hey, you can't be a great closer unless you be a great setup guy, like Marhone of San Diego. So yeah, I would like to see that change, and not necessarily a designation, but I think they made the designation because before it was all starters pretty much, and you just have starters, but let's face it, after the first inning, they're all pitching relief anyway. But yeah, there's a lot of guys that should be there. Particularly, I think Wheeler, deserves to go. But pitching on Sunday, I can see why, MLB say, well, if Vicky, you're not going anyway. Certainly a Sonny Gray, 10-1, unbelievable what he's done for the Red Sox. I'd still be surprised if he doesn't end up there.
Bob, there's so many snubs. There's so many snubs you could get into if you want. I mean, Michael Harris, Bryce Terang, the list goes on. Davis Martin, the list goes on and on of snubs. So, but no matter how many All-Stars you have, there'll always be the next guy who's, he should have made it, or he should have. It's crazy. So, be happy for the guys who got in, and for the guys who didn't get in. Hopefully, you have a great first half and you get in the next year, Bob. But speaking of first halves and ending poorly right now, the Yankees. What is the Yankees' problems real? I know their starting rotation is beat up. Judge is out, Stanton's out, but can they figure this out without making a move? Schlittler finally got hit last time out for the first time really in his career. Are the Yankees' problems real, or is this just a blip in the radar? They seem to do this every year around this time.
I almost think we should give the MVP to Aaron Judge again this year, just because look how valuable he is. It's unbelievable how bad they are when this guy doesn't play. He covers up so many flaws. But yeah, I think they should be aggressive. I mean, I think they should be very aggressive to get another late inning reliever there, another bat for sure. But just playing so sloppy. I know Judge kind of called them out the other day, but they shouldn't be playing this poorly. Now they have a big series against Tampa. If they're not careful, they're going to be about 8 games out, going to the break. Talking to folks from Tampa before, remember, they kind of thought this was like a retooling year, when maybe high 80s, if they make the playoffs, they do. If not, so what? Now I think they're going to be aggressive, like going for guys like Tarik Skubal and that sort of thing, because they realize this American League is so wide open. Here's their chance to win their first World Series if nobody else is going to take it.
All right, well, let's go to the Phillies, a team that was first team ever, I think, in baseball history to be 10 games under 500 and then 10 games over 500 before July. Which team are they? Are they the closer to 10 games over 500, or are they closer to the Rob Thompson 10 games under?
I think they're closer to what they're playing now. I still think it would have happened. I'm not saying it would have gone on this, hot streak under Don Mattingly, but I do believe they would have won under Rob Thompson. I mean, Thompson and Mattingly, their personalities are almost identical. They could be brothers. But I think it was such a wake-up call to the players, like, hey, you guys just got a good guy fired here. That's on you. And all of a sudden, they started playing a whole lot better. But I think it's a scary team. They still need a right-handed hitting outfielder. If they get that, maybe, another reliever for the back end of that bullpen, then I think they're set. I mean, that window's starting to close a little bit on the Phillies. I think this might be their best chance to win it all. They've been a great team. They almost beat the Dodgers last year, but I think they run up against the Dodgers this time with the pitching they got, particularly with the Sanchez and Wheeler and Luzardo. I think they could scare the Dodgers to death.
That was my question, Bob. Is you mentioned the Tigers, if they get in and they have Skubal and Mize and Fromber, and they'd be scary. But can you imagine having to go into a 3-game or a 5-game series and you get Sanchez, Wheeler, Luzardo, and then whoever the fourth guy is with Duran and Alvarado and some of those guys at the back end, Kirkring? That would be a scary proposition for any team, including the Dodgers.
Yeah, they were so close last year. Remember, they lost a Game 4 in the throwing air by the pitcher. Well, it was Game 5 would have been Philadelphia. Tough place to win. So, yeah, I think they're a very scary team. I think they're going to be very aggressive. Dave Dombrowski's always been aggressive. So I think they're going to go for this thing. I think, obviously they're not going after a guy like Tarik Skubal, but they got to get that right-handed bat somewhere. They've had their scouts all over the road here the last month or so, kind of watching like, who's going to be available at the trade deadline? We got to get help here.
Hey, Bob, one more thing about the Phillies while we're on it. I know they have Mattingly, and he's not going to come back next year. We know that for sure. Would Alex Cora still be in the mix for this job? Would he still be considered the front runner? We know they tried to hire him as soon as he was let go from Boston, but would he be the front runner if Mattingly decides not to come back?
Yeah, I think it's Cora's job. I really do. I just think he wanted a breather, get paid anyway, step back. I mean, he would look like a genius if he had taken this job and the same record as Manley did. But I think the only way Manley comes back is, hey, if they win the World Series, then they ask Don, hey, you want to come back or not? Let him be his choice. Otherwise, I think, hey, we want Corey here. Is that all right by you? And he'll probably step away and say, you know what, I'll retire anyway. But no, I think it's definitely Corey's job unless they win the whole thing and Manley wants to do it. Or maybe Manley thinks, you know what, I'll be like a John Elway or something, just walk away with my first ring.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, I felt for him last year, obviously. Part of the Blue Jays organization getting so damn close. Inches away multiple times. Bob, good stuff. Great to catch up with you. We'll be chatting frequently leading up to the trade deadline.
All right. See you guys in Philadelphia.
Yeah, we'll see you in Philly. Thanks, Bob. Hey, for the families out there looking for a different path to help your child succeed at home, look into K-12 powered schools. Todd Father, you've done the homeschooling thing in the past. I know you liked it.
Yeah, I did. I liked it a lot. All my kids have done it before. It's an opportunity for them to stay at home and enjoy school just as much. They learn a lot. And this is an opportunity for families that are on the go too as well. They have to understand, listen, can't be at a regular school at all times. I need my child to be doing this, whether it's an athletic career or whatever stature they are at. And we loved every second of it. And I think it is an easy opportunity for some children.
K-12 offers tuition-free accredited online public education for students in K through 12, all in a setting that works for your family. See how K-12 powered schools can help unlock your child's full potential. Enroll today at k12.com/foul. That's the letter K, the number 12.com/FOUL. k12.com/foul. Hey, a little Triston Casas update. Shutdown from hitting, wrist issue popped up. This was Chad Tracy, the Red Sox manager, telling Tim Healy from rehabbing, and this is Tyler Milliken with the tweet, from rehabbing the knee to an intercostal strain and now the wrist. It just never ends. And AJ, it sucks for the player, but also I will remind fans that sometimes if a trade opportunity arises for a young player and you're able to get somebody that's going to put you over the top, don't prospect hug. It wasn't even totally the case. I'm just mentioning this because I just remember Todd Father getting absolutely roasted to pieces one time for bringing up Triston Casas in a trade. And they were like, he's the next superstar in the league. I'm like, relax, everyone.
Well, two things. One, yes, you shouldn't prospect hug. Ask the Orioles how some of their prospects have worked out. And two, Triston Casas was also offered an extension and didn't take it. And it was a lucrative extension. He didn't take it, and now he hasn't played it. I mean, Triston Casas, we've talked about this on the show before. He's not even relevant to me anymore until he can get on the field. He hasn't played for like 2 years now. So it sucks for him. It sucks for the Red Sox. But, this is why Eric and I always say, man, if you get an opportunity to take your first contract, you should take it because you never know what can happen.
Doesn't mean his career's over. It just means that he has to grind back in a different way that, he's had to so far. And hopefully all these things that keep popping up, he can figure out the root cause of them and, it can get better. But prospect hugging, I love that. I love that vernacular. We should use that often.
All right, there's a lot going on here. Eury Perez went 7 perfect innings against the A's as the Marlins swept them, and the Marlins are on fire. But fans were pissed. Even opposing fans were pissed, right? In Sacramento, fans were like, shame, shame, shame to the Marlins dugout when they pulled him at 92 pitches. AJ, is this as simple as you got to let him ride? Because he had 2 innings to accomplish, likely would have been getting himself towards the, 115 plus pitch range. They had 90-ish pegged for him because it was only his 3rd start back from a hamstring injury on the IL, and Eury Perez has not been the clean bill of health. So what do you do here? Or is there just no win if you're Clayton McCullough, Marlins manager?
Well, there's no win, and he has to do what Peter Bendix tells him also. So let's not forget that he was told exactly how many pitches. And this is where it becomes a hard thing in this game, because managers go, the games are scripted. They have green and red. Kratz, you know this. They have green, red. This is where this guy's going to pitch. And then the good managers figure it out when things don't go according to the script. And the ones that don't last are the ones that, I didn't know what to do when it got off script. Well, here's the problem. He was throwing a perfect game. He was absolutely dominating. I think he would have gone out there and probably got it done. We'll never know. But gosh, it's like one of those once in a lifetime opportunities that maybe you just let it ride. I mean, Phil Humber threw a perfect game, right? Dallas Braden's known for throwing a perfect game. The guy for the Yankees? What's his name? I was going to say Marquez, but that's not his name. Jermaine, right? German. What was it? You guys remember his name? The guy
Herman Marquez?
No, it wasn't her. It
Domingo
was,
Herman.
Domingo Herman.
Domingo Herman, yeah.
Domingo Herman threw the perfect game, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so Felix, then you have greats like Felix Hernandez that have thrown perfect games, but this is your one shot to do something historic. It's sad that he couldn't do it. I understand why the Marlins didn't do it. Doesn't mean I'm a fan of it. And clearly the people in Sacramento weren't fans of it. And then to make matters worse, obviously they almost blew this game. They did win. Trevor May took his shots, but I think I would have at least let him go one more inning to see where he stood. If he gets through the 8th, then it's like, okay, I got to let him go. But here's the thing. That's why they didn't let him get to the 8th. Because if he gets through the 8th clean, then they're like, well, we got to let him go now. So the easy decision is, he's at his pitch count. Let's take him out after 7 and 92.
Everything AJ said about it could have been something historic, could have been something he'll never forget. No idea what his career is going to be. Yes, they want to win in the playoffs. If they make the playoffs, all that stuff, I get it. But as a high school coach, I go through the pitch count issue. I don't want to run my players to an extreme pitch count because I see their ability diminishing. They get tired. But those are kids. Let's go back 4 starts ago. He rehabbed in Durham one time. If you're not afraid of him going longer, maybe he should have had a few more starts. He had one rehab assignment, and then they threw him into the big leagues. So essentially the organization said, well, we'd rather have him throw 68 pitches against the Rangers than use somebody else in our staff. Then he went 86. And then today or yesterday, they said it was going to be 90 plus a hitter is what we had scripted, which I understand. Like, you got to think ahead. But why is it 90? What kind of 90 pitches? They had 3 balls that were considered hard hit. 2 ground balls, which people would be very surprised at. A hard hit ground balls just look like regular ground balls. And 1 fly ball that was caught. Those were the only hard hit balls. He had 2 3-ball counts. In my opinion, you throw him back out there, you watch, you see what he looks like from pitch 1 of the 8th inning. You can tell. If you can't tell what you look like when your pitcher's tired, then what kind of eyes are you using? Like, you're not trying to hurt the guy, but you're giving guys an opportunity to do something he may never be able to do again.
And the what if part. So let's say he does the 8th inning, like AJ was talking about, and he's at 107. Well, then the organization's freaking out, right? Because then, it takes him 7 pitches to get the first out in the 9th. Now he's at 114. You're going to pull him at 114 when he's 2 outs away?
No, that's why I said it was an easier decision after the 7th than it would have been if he would have gone back out for the 8th. Because if he gets through the 8th, they have to let him go for the – you have to. I'm sorry. That's why they're like, if we get him out at 7, then we can say, he had 2 more innings he had to cover, 30, maybe 30 more pitches. But by taking him out in the 7th, they're like, well, we'll never know, will we?
How many people have ever gotten hurt from throwing too many pitches? Everyone's going to go, Johan Santana. He blew out after his 142-pitch no-hitter.
Mark
Pryor, because he threw – you know which game it was that he threw too many pitches?
All of them.
So that's what I'm saying.
Nolan Ryan. And I'll argue Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan threw 300 pitches a game and it was fine. So
they don't make them like they used to.
Doesn't hold water.
These guys can't stay on the field. Not all of them, but too many of them can't stay on the field.
They don't throw enough.
I agree.
They don't
but
throw
it's
enough,
not getting
Scott.
fixed.
That's the biggest thing.
I'm with you, same page. But the problem is it's not getting fixed. It can't get fixed on the fly. So right now, the way it is, the front office is going percentage chance that this player gets hurt at this many pitches. This is the trajectory that the computer says that he should be pitching right now. It's just the way that the format is. And the Marlins are more like that than maybe any other team in baseball. The Marlins are a walking formula right now, and it's working for them, and Eury Perez can't stay on the field. I'm not saying if it's me, I'm in screw it mode and I'm just putting him out there because I'm like you guys. At one time, I think he'll live. But I'm just telling you the perspective from the front office. They don't care about our entertainment. They only care about winning games and their philosophy of winning games, which is percentage chance of this happening. And not to mention, Kratz, percentage chance of them winning the game. They don't care. They're like, we're up big. They almost lost it, but they're like, percentage chance, we're winning this game. Pull him now. He's already been injured plenty in life. We don't want to deal with this.
No. I don't want to be on that side. AJ and I both agree. We're looking to win the game 100%. When you're winning 9-0, I am never making a decision for my team. Well, you know what? We're going to throw this guy out there just because that's going to be something cool. We could lose, but not a chance. That is not ever in my decision. Your career is so short. It's your job to stay on the field, but you also have an opportunity to come up and take an at-bat, throw a pitch in the game, to do something historic that could possibly never be done again and may never get another chance. In my opinion, don't get in the way of that. And this is where I think people who are making these decisions, I'm not talking about Clayton McCullough, I'm talking about people who are making these decisions have never strapped on the cleats and been in a spot to do something historic.
Agree. We're all on the same page. I'm just telling you, I understand where the other side is coming from because I know what the front office does. I know how the front office thinks. They don't care. They're just like, chances we're winning this game, chances this pitcher gets hurt if we go 125 pitches with him. That's the game that they're playing.
What are the chances? We see all these models. We see the FIP, weighted whip, whatever it is. There's so many models. What is show me the model that says when Eury Perez on his fourth start after the IL throws 111 pitches, that his chances of getting hurt are exponential in that start? Now, I would argue with you, maybe the next start he needs to throw 70 pitches because then you can even it out. Now it's like 90-90. He has a better chance of getting hurt when his body's broken down after a tough start. Just like the same reason you wouldn't throw somebody in 100 pitches and then go say, hey, you know what I want you to do tomorrow? I want you to play shortstop. Like, that's where your chance of getting hurt is. In this game, he's good. He's good to go. He wasn't even taxed yet.
That's my thing, AJ. Why? I mean, maybe this is done, where some organizations are tracking stressful pitches. Like, this was such a non-stressful outing. There were, I believe, 3 baseballs hit over 95 miles an hour exit velocity off Eury Perez. 2 of them were ground balls. Like, you know how some perfect games are like, oh, that was smoked. Great catch out there. Like, this was easy breezy, having no problem with an A's team that is slumping right now. And that, to me, should hold account here.
Also, I agree with what Kratz said. Skip him. If he throws 120 pitches, he throws a perfect game, you can skip him his next start. You know what you have coming up? The All-Star break, too. You can give him 2 weeks off if you have to. He pitched on Sunday, right? So have him skipped. I'm sure there's an off day in there. And then you give him the 4 days for the All-Star break. He gets 2 weeks off. He pitches the first game back. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I'm not Clayton McCullough. I'm not in that locker room. I'm not Peter Bendix. I don't see what they're seeing. But I mean, again, this was a chance for a kid to do something that could have been historic. People will never forget. Again, I'd go back to Phil Humber, the guy I know that threw a perfect game. And heck, you could even use Dallas Braden if you want to use Dallas Braden. They're remembered for one thing in baseball. They threw a perfect game in a big league game. There's only been, I think, 22 of them or something like that in the history of the game. Maybe, I don't know, somewhere around that number in the low 20s. This is an historic opportunity to do something very special that you'll always be remembered for. I just feel like you got to give the guy a shot.
Yeah, there's been 24 perfect games ever. 24 perfect games ever. And the last one, like you guys mentioned, was Domingo Germán, June 28th of 2023. It's not always the most notable name. And this could be the same case here. Eury Perez came up as a super prospect. He's a huge guy. He's a presence. He's got good stuff, but he hasn't stayed on the field consistently. And he hasn't even put up many consistent results when he's been able to do that. He's still young. It's fine, but this could have been the highlight of his career. and that gets robbed. It's just that for front offices, they don't care about a milestone like that. They don't care about the entertainment factor. They don't care about fans yelling shame at Clayton McCullough. They care that in their mind, they keep him in. They get in their disaster scenario if he's at 126 pitches and he's trying to get that last out. And that's all. And then he gets hurt, and then they feel like they get blamed for it. Last part of this. Do you feel like if he does pull off this perfecto and he had to do 129 pitches, let's just say, right? Let's say he had to labor a bit in some longer ABs, and then he gets hurt. Do the Marlins get crushed?
No. You know how they would have really got crushed if they would have lost, which they almost did, by the way. They almost lost it. They had a chance to lose this game. But if they would have lost this game, can you imagine how bad they would have got crushed? So if he gets hurt, you can't. I agree with what Kratz said. You can't look at it and say, "Oh, is that one start?" He's been a guy who hasn't been on the field. That'd be like we just talked about Triston Casas in the break, right? He's always hurt. So is there one thing you can look back and say, "Man, Triston Casas is hurt because he took too many swings while he was on the IL again"? You never know. You never know. And if you constantly play to not get guys hurt, and as a player, if you play not to get hurt, that's when you get hurt.
He wasn't going to get to 126 pitches. It's not a perfect game anymore if he gets to 126 pitches. Like a perfect game means it's really efficient. It's 1, 2, 3, ground ball here, something there. Like it's just not happening. You're not going deep into counts. So I don't see his pitch count rising through that moment.
If he walked a guy, would you still go? Like now
Game
you're in the
over.
ninth inning.
Nope.
You take him out. Ninth inning, 1 out, walk. You take him out?
No, you let him finish the no-hitter. Try to.
No.
It's a hit.
Yeah.
As soon as a hit. A walk, you let him stay. A hit, you take him out. Right away.
But
you have somebody up behind him.
You also have a different mentality. Like, look, we have a 9-run lead. Attack the zone. If it's a 1-run game, you're like, we still got to work the edges. Those are higher stress pitches. Then you know what we're going to do? We're going right after these guys. We're going right at them. It's not like he's trying for a no-hitter and he's like walks 2 or 3 guys in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning because he's like, I am not giving up a hit. That's a different mentality. You're talking about a 9-run lead, attack the zone, get this thing done.
Nice. Good chat. And for Marlins fans, you might be pissed, but the team's balling right now. They're not even just in a wild card spot. They're going for a little division action. I know there's a lot of season left to go, but hopefully they're buyers at the trade deadline. I'm just saying they were double-digit games back not too long ago, and now I think they're 3 or 4 games back of the first place Atlanta Braves. Okay, let's get to All-Star starters, All-Star rosters, and snubs next. All right, SeatGeek, let's see what the week has for us. We are 1 week away from a break, so enjoy some regular season baseball until we get to Derby, All-Star, the whole deal, and know that you can go to SeatGeek, of course, to find tickets for the Midsummer Classic and any of the series coming up this week. This is what we like to do here. So Yankees-Rays is huge, of course. We might get to the Yankees a little bit later on. AJ, since you've been gone, the Yankees have barely won. They have looked terrible, and the Rays have barely lost.
I know. They needed me to come back so they could try to win a game. It was bad. Oof. And Junior Caminero, it's a home run every game. I'm like, oh, Junior Caminero home run, Junior Caminero home run, Junior Caminero. It's like Yankees lose, Rays win, Junior Caminero, it's a home run. So, yeah, it's been crazy. The Rays have opened up a little bit of a lead. They had a little bit of a lead on them before, though, so the Yankees came back. But didn't seem like they're going away. I'll tell you what, though, Scott, the game, there's one matchup you didn't talk about. It's Brewers and the Cardinals. That's the one other than the Yankees and the Rays I'd like to go take a look at because the Cardinals are better than expected. The Brewers are doing what the Brewers have done for years, but this is a chance for the Cardinals maybe to make a statement before the All-Star break.
Yeah, to see some Cardinals scores over the weekend with the Cubs. They're putting up numbers on offense.
They were giving up some too. The Cubs the other day had 23, I think, and then they scored 17. Yeah, I like this series. I think it's really kind of another tester series for this younger St. Louis team. See how they match up against the perennial division winners in the Brewers.
Yeah, what was it, 23-3?
Yep.
on
17-1.
Mhm.
Yeah, but 23-3 was that was not Cubs Cardinals. That was Cubs. I don't remember who they were playing.
Padres?
Yes, Padres. Good call.
Yeah.
But then it was 17-1.
Padres stink right now.
Well, the Padres, they had lost eight in a row, and then they snapped that on the Sunday win, and they had the 3-0 advantage on the Ohtani game with Michael King out pitching him, and then Teoscar Hernandez hit the grand slam the other night. So they've had some tough, close losses late too. Anyway, this is a great time of year. If you want to go catch a game, this is the spot for you. Thanks to SeatGeek for always hooking us up with these game previews here. 10% off MLB tickets. Promo code is Territory10. Click the link in the description to download the app if you don't have it already, and then the code automatically gets added to your account so you can use it later. I just used that code actually yesterday to grab some seats. So go for it, FT fam. And coming up next, we're going to talk about the All-Star game, who made it, who did not. All-Star rosters have arrived. Complain first, then hype later. You guys want to complain a little bit about who didn't make it? And I know that things might change by the time we're done with this, but there are quite a few names that we can list. Pitchers get replaced pretty frequently, but AJ, position players often don't. So if we bring up a name like Bryce Terang and how well he's played for the Brewers, or your guy Colson Montgomery with the White Sox, who's playing shortstop premium position and putting up as many homers as almost anybody in baseball. Who else? There's a ton of names that we can mention here.
The one that stands out to me, I just did the Braves this weekend. July 4th game, the Mets. Michael Harris. He's hitting 300. I know average doesn't matter. He's got an almost 40 OPS. I think he's got over an 840 OPS. He plays a delightful center field if you watch him. He can steal you a base. I don't know how Michael Harris didn't make this team, honestly. That was the one that I was like, whoa, when I saw the reserves. And then Sonny Gray, pitcher to me is Sonny Gray is 10-1. In dealing for a last place team. I think feel it. What is he, 10-1, 2.5 ERA around there? So those are the two that off the top of my head I was like, how did these two guys not make it?
Yeah, I mean Michael Harris, that's a tough one. Maybe Braves fans should vote for Braves players more. Oh wait, they did. So why they missed Michael Harris? What I agree with you. It's a tough outfield to crack. The starting lineup. Juan Soto, Brandon Marsh is done. He was leading the league and hitting for a bit. To me, it really is what Scott said. Bryce Terang, Ozzie Albies. See, Braves fans voted for Ozzie Albies, but they didn't vote for Michael Harris. But, Ozzie Albies he's there. Ketel Marte, you're thinking is going to be one of the better second basemen, but numbers-wise, Bryce Terang should be in there. And I'm not saying he won't be. Obviously, he's going to be, one of the first ones if somebody or when somebody in the position player core doesn't show up. But, man, he's doing it offensively. 820 OPS. I think it's like a 120-something OPS plus. But defensively, too, I'm not sure where he's at on the WAR in the National League, but fans, I guess, aren't enamored with WAR. Players aren't enamored with WAR. But he's on a first-place team, too.
Yeah, he's third in Fangraphs WAR for second baseman, first in WRC plus, which is usually very similar to OPS plus, so one of the better bats at second base. Second base was fierce, right? You mentioned Ozzie Albies, who hasn't had as good of a year. He's been good, but not as good of a year as Terang and some others that I'm about to name. Luis Arraez was selected by the players. Brandon Lau, in many years, would have been an all-star for what he's done with Pittsburgh. JJ Weatherholt.
Ding. Look at his numbers.
Yeah, Lau for sure.
Look at his numbers.
What about Weatherholt? He might win Rookie of the Year still in the National League, and he didn't make it. His defense is rated at second base, metrics-wise, higher than anyone else in baseball for a second baseman, and he's put up the offensive numbers to show for it. Hey, AJ, you missed the whole Willson Contreras fund that we had for a while, and I know he's going to be missing some time soon, but he's fourth in the American League in OPS. He's been by far the best player on the Red Sox. Red Sox get no respect.
But he leads the league in one stat.
Fights?
Actually, two stats.
Ejections?
Well, ejections, charging the mound when he doesn't really charge the mound, and apologies. So, he actually 3 stats he leads the league in.
Maybe we would have had an all-star brawl if Willson Contreras was there. He's been really good.
It's not a brawl. It's not a brawl when you stand there and go, what are you talking about to Cade Cavalli? And then everyone gets in between you. And then you're like, no, you're like, hold me back, guys. I'll hold myself. Like, come on, that's not a fight. Like when everyone's like, he charged him out. He didn't charge the mound.
No,
he charged him
he
out
did
when
not
there was
charge.
30 people between him and Cade Cavalli.
Now, he did throw a helmet, which is a
He did
bold
throw a
move,
helmet.
Cotton.
He
That
threw
was-
a helmet, but didn't he hit his own guy? No, he didn't hit. Wait, he hit someone else.
Chaparro. He hit Chaparro, but I mean, everybody throws a helmet. Think about Bryce Harper when he threw it. You know, you don't do enough helmet practice throws. But no, it's not charging the mound. It's not charging the mound. It's exactly like, I don't know if you have dogs in your neighborhood. It's exactly like dogs barking at each other through the fence. And then the fence gets opened up. Most dogs just smell each other's butts. So that's essentially what they're doing. They're just barking at each other. They're not charging the mound until it's actually charging the pitcher's mound, which you got a full range. There ain't nobody standing in your way for about, I would say, a good 3 seconds till anybody comes in. And they don't. But back to the All-Star stuff, some years, some positions are just really tough. Some years, you can be hitting 219 with like 12 homers at a position and nobody else is doing very well. And people are like, okay. Like, in my opinion, with second base, I think the players got it wrong with Luis Ariz. I do, and that's taking nothing away from what he's doing. I think at second base, it is a very crowded position this season in the first half.
Hey, I've got one for you. He's been insanely good through the course of the beginning of his career, but he's in a pretty long rut at this point.
Drake Baldwin.
No, but that is a good one. That is a good one. I was going Skeens. Dude, Skeens is in a rut. He gets in. Skeens actually was vocal about it yesterday to the media, how he feels like the highlight of the team has been the offense, and he's right, and how it sucks that those guys didn't get in. But even look, I mean, Braxton Ashcraft has better numbers than Paul Skeens. Justin Robleski has better numbers than Paul Skeens. Kyles Harrison has better numbers than Paul Skeens, and he literally got ruined by that one Las Vegas start that knocked his numbers a little bit off of what looks like a Cy Young conversation.
The problem is these were voted for like weeks ago, right? So the last few starts aren't included. And Kratz will tell you this too. Players don't know exactly what's going on. And listen, I love Drake Baldwin as much as the next guy, but he was like 1 for 40 or something since he's come back. He missed a month and now he's like 1 for 40. Now I know he was voted a starter by the fans, which is fine. It's kind of a reward for being the rookie of the year. And he was off to a great start, but you know, that's an example of it's not necessarily recency biased. And Paul Skeens is a big name. And you know who MLB wants in this game? Big names. They want big names. Why do you think Bryce Harper got a Legends pick? They want big names.
Question for you guys then when it comes to names. I mean, Michael Wacha has been in the league for a while. He was actually an MLB pick. He was a league pick. We mentioned how Sonny Gray didn't get selected, and Gray will probably get in when, you know, a pitcher bows out or doesn't hit the schedule the right way. Davis Martin, I think, also probably should have the edge over Wacha. I mean, we like Wacha. Good dude. Good. And is he a deserved all-star? Yes, but not above the two that I just mentioned when I was matching up numbers.
How does a first-place team only have one all-star? The White Sox. They have one all-star. They have one all-star, Miguel Vargas. There's about 3 or 4 guys you can make an argument should be on that team. Murakami doesn't get hurt. He's on the team, right?
Yes.
Davis
But
Martin.
there's other players. There's other players that are hurt that are on the team. Why wouldn't they look at what Murakami's done? I think he's still like 7th or 8th in home runs in the league. Like,
yeah.
I think there's always going to be snubs. That's the reality of the All-Star game, and there's going to be a lot of guys that can say they're All-Stars this year. It doesn't dumb down the All-Star game, but you do question sometimes, where did the motivation for players' votes come from, and where did the MLB votes come from? And then, I mean, the most intriguing, we already hit a little with Bob, is the Bryce Harper, get out of my locker room, and then Rob Manfred's like, why don't you just stay in your locker room that I'm not allowed in?
The commissioner's selection, Bryce Harper. Usually I feel like that goes to someone who's at the end of his career. Yes. And you're like, hey, we're going to give him like a tip of the cap. But I guess for Bryce, it's like You're not going to have Bryce Harper at the All-Star game. And also, I do think that they want
In
Bryce
Philly?
Harper in the Derby. They want him in the Derby, and if he's not a lot of the players say, if I'm not an All-Star, I'm not doing anything with the Derby. So that's probably, but not that Bryce necessarily stated that to the league, but you just know, right?
Sure.
AJ, if Bryce didn't make it, is he going to participate in the Derby? No way.
No chance. Bryce has too much respect for the guys that are there. It's one thing you say, love or hate Bryce Harper. He respects the heck out of the game, and he respects the heck out of people that have earned things. And if he wasn't selected an All-Star, there's no way he would have played in the Derby. And Schwarber's already said he's not doing it because he doesn't think he's going to do it because his back doesn't feel great. So they needed somebody from Philadelphia, and it wasn't going to be Brandon Marsh. So how do you get Bryce Harper to do it? You give him the Legends pick.
John Middleton, when he sent his revenue share check into Rob Manfred that he has to pay every month, he also slid in a note that you better make sure Bryce Harper's there because this man has been talking about for the last 2.5 years about doing the home run derby when it's in Philly. So make sure you know who my pick is for the Legends pick for this year.
There you go. Yes, handpicked by the commission, still working on who his BP or his Derby pitcher is going to be.
I'm here.
Try it, Kratz. Tell him. Get the message across.
I already said it. I already hit it in the chat. I already hit it on Twitter. I even hit up their hitting coach. I mean, my BP is money, and I'm right down the road. Only take an Uber, 45-minute Uber, super cheap.
And you can practice with him a couple times beforehand too, if he wants, right?
I think it's a fun shot at his dad. I feel like his dad is going to be the guy. I mean, his dad threw him before. And Bryce, if you're listening, I even throw a little cut because I know the other year your dad kept throwing cutters and you just kept hitting dingers in Washington. Dinger. It doesn't even matter. You don't even need to practice. He's only going to swing at 20 pitches. So let's just get it going.
I'm all for it. Last one for me. I know some people were pointing out Luke Weaver, who's been one of the best non-closers.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the problem. Only a few relievers get in. They're going to be closers. Closers pitch in bigger moments. I mean, we can make that case all day, but Weaver's been awesome. He's got a 2.00 ERA. But for example, even if, one of the relievers goes down or doesn't want to pitch, Riley O'Brien closing for the Cardinals, like he's going to get in over someone like Luke Weaver. It's just usually how it goes, is they're going to select guys that are pitching in the 9th inning. No, you don't agree with that?
I don't agree. I think it should be the best guys. I think before that's the one thing that I think you have to win the game or the winning the game matters. Helped guys get in like Josh Harrison, I think like Adam Frazier got in one because they were like, I don't want to get stuck, so I need a more versatile type of person in my position player core. And so I think if the manager of the team needed to win the game, I think they would say, okay, who do I think is better? Do I think O'Brien from the Cardinals is better? Well, he's just been closing a lot of games, not a big, strikeout guy. Or is Luke Weaver better? Or is one of the other not long relievers, is it Aaron Ashby? Does that change my dynamic, my look in the bullpen if I need it? Because I do want to win this game.
Okay. And yes, it's not like they never get in. I know Jason Adam made it last year and Randy Rodriguez. Did they both make it last year? But often the closers get selected. My point is, I'm not just going on ERA for a reliever. I just think guy pitching in the 9th inning often gets a little more juice, right? He's pitching in a tougher role than someone who's pitching in the 7th or 8th.
People know their name more too. People know their name
for sure.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless you're Jordan Romano. What is it, Jordan Romano? He got the closer entrance and he was in AAA until yesterday. That was pretty awesome.
Love that.
Not his decision,
right.
I'm sure.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back while I get some attack dogs out of here. I was about to go Willson Contreras. my neighbor, his dog is in front of my door.
Just let him in. Let him in. Wait. Wait. Oh man, that your neighbor's dog just charged your dog. Definitely just charged it. No, he didn't charge. Dog didn't charge.
They're
Dog
just
was
butt
barking.
sniffing. Butt sniffing.
Just butt sniffing. That's
what I'm going to call it now, right? When Willson Contreras starts barking, he's just butt sniffing.
Not just Willson. I don't want him.
I'm just saying, I'm using him as an example.
There were certain people that if there was ever an altercation, and he was on the Rays, this guy that most people knew was on the Rays for a long time. He was always the one everyone knew from behind the pile was going to be butt sniffing for sure. And you know who I'm talking. I'm not going to use his name, but you know who I'm talking about.
The only fight he ever got in was because I became friends with him because when we played together and then we hung out in the offseason. I was like, the only person you ever got in a fight in was that Cooler. That was the only person that you actually ever punched. He came in the dugout and he was punching the Cooler. Come on.
Sean
SR.
Rodriguez.
I didn't say his name.
He was famous for that. Aroldis Chapman, famous for punch outs, and also you don't want to mess with him. No butt sniffing around him. He picked up the reliever strikeout record. 1,364. Got him over the mark. Been pitching for a long time. Yeah.
Hey, I watched him in that game where he blew the lead. He blew the save against the Yankees after the ball was tossed around, and he was chasing some balls. Chappie just needs to stay on the mound because something was going on. That he was running after the ball, and it was not looking hip, knee, something was limping. And he still stayed out there and still threw 101 to finish out that inning. And then obviously the Red Sox came back and won it. But this dude defies a lot of things in life.
Yeah, he's a house, right? He lifts his face off. He's 38. He's still one of the best relievers in baseball. He's amazing. And hopefully he lands on a contender in a few weeks at the trade deadline. We'll see what the Red Sox do.
Worked out last time he went to another team and the time before that.
Good, bad, ugly. We'll start with the Yankees. They were good for a while. Then they were bad. Now it's getting ugly. And it's not just the performance on the field. They're losing players. Judge has been out. He's still going to be out for a while. Stanton's going to be out for a while. Max Fried has been out for a while. Carlos Rodon went back on the shelf, left elbow inflammation for him. And then their best pitching prospect, who is supposed to be a big deal in their bullpen, Carlos Lagrange, I think is how you say it, will not throw for approximately 6 weeks. No throwing for about 6 weeks. So now we're pushing up against late in the season for a guy who's never pitched in the big leagues yet. And they're relying on him to be a big piece of the bullpen, right? One of those guys where it's like the league barely sees him. He pops up in August, and now he's not popping up in August. I mean, you hope that he'll be back for September. And AJ, as the bullpen's been okay for the Yankees, it's been pretty good, I would say. There's some underlying numbers that would scare you for the postseason. They're among the lowest in velocity and in strikeouts, and that often can hurt you. In the postseason, you got guys in the bullpen that can punch tickets, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of not good things happening with the Yankees, and including the fact that we didn't even mention it. They lost a series at home to the Twins. They haven't lost a series at home to the Twins ever, I don't think, that I can remember. It's been like since 2002 when I was playing for the Twins. They have owned the Twins everywhere, including in Yankee Stadium. So, yeah, this is it's one thing after another. Cole's back at least, but then you lose. Schlittler got hit his last time out for the first time really in his career. You lose Fried, you lose Rodon, you lose Lagrange. The back end of the bullpen has been okay. It hasn't been great, but they've been getting used a lot because like Weathers has been struggling. So the back end of the bullpen, they need Cam Schlittler to go out tonight and pitch really well on the road in Tampa against Griffin Jacks. Now on paper, this is a matchup the Yankees should win, but again, that's on paper. But the Yankees, they got to figure it out here because if they lose this series to the Rays, they're starting to get into that dangerous, too far out category.
Yeah, and you don't want to start chasing teams late in the season because then you have guys. It doesn't set up well. But you also don't want to necessarily just cruise into the playoffs. So I think this is something that, like Aaron Judge said, guys, you got to figure this out. Like we're not as focused as we should be. We're not doing the things that it takes to win a World Series. And if you're on the Yankees, you never once talk about anything but winning the World Series. There's never been a spring training where like, you know what, the American League East is tough. We just hope to make it to the playoffs. Like I heard JP Ricciardi say one time when I was in big league camp with the Blue Jays. I was like, what? Who wants to just make the playoffs? No, you want to win. Who cares who's around you? So that's their goal. And I think him calling them out, saying, you know what, maybe we're not as focused as we should be, and we're going to have these conversations. Very legitimate things to say, but it's still a good team. Yes, we're talking about all their injuries. All these injuries happened before, and they were still winning. They were still in first place. They're not able to string together solid games. I mean, they had a 7-game stretch where they had 13 errors. They had Cam Schlittler in back-to-back outings. Yeah, he didn't give up any earned runs the one time to Boston, but he also didn't get his team out of the jam that they put him in. And then the next game, he gave up a lot of runs. Had that ball been caught in center field by Spencer Jones, then he doesn't face the next 3 guys that end up hitting home runs off of him, and he gives up 5 runs. Again, he needs to pick up his team. So I think it's a case where some of these guys, while they're their all-stars, they're their best players, need to step up and be able to pick each other up to get themselves out of this terrible 10-game stretch they've been in.
Also, AJ, I'm going to say it because I've said it a couple times this year, and I've said it multiple times over the last 3 or 4 years. They can't keep playing Anthony Volpe every day. I'm sorry. It has hurt the team. They're not putting the best lineup out on the field. I'm being serious. And Yankee fans have been losing their mind. They're losing their mind again because they had a good thing going with Caballero. He looks like, I got to look at the numbers, but he looks comfortable at short. He is, I think, hitting better when he's playing at short. Just put him out there every day. He's a better player, period. He's the better player. I know he can play multiple positions, but Volpe's just not cutting it for them.
Don't tell Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman that, because their numbers say that he's better. Scott,
there was a
you
number
don't
floating
know,
around.
much like you don't know as
weekend.
much as the Marlins know. You don't know as much as the Yankees know. The Yankees know this.
But for a team that obviously is very into something like on base percentage mixed with power, I mean, he's not really providing either of those things. It set some type of record recently where X amount of plate appearances in first 3 and change years or whatever of your career, lowest on base percentage ever of any player at that number. What?
By the way, and he heard you. Now he's walking at a higher clip than he ever has in his career. He's got a 340 on base percentage, so he's got a higher OPS plus than he ever has in his career. So maybe that's why he's found his way into the lineup again.
Sorry, I don't see it, but keep running it out there. Let me know how that goes.
What's his OPS? I got to look real quick.
89 OPS plus.
It's always 89, but let's see if it's 89. Since apparently I'm just crapping on a play. It's 89. Thank you. So, and his slugging percentage is 328.
89 is above his career. He's an 84 career.
Yep.
So 89, he's doing better.
Look,
but you know what's funny?
Is that worth
career
knocking
OPS is
Caballero
662.
Right.
Hey, his career OPS is 662. He's at 668. So he's doing better, Scott. So you're wrong.
I do believe that maybe right now he's part of the best lineup that they can run out there. With Aaron Judge out, with Spencer Jones down in the bushes, with Grisham was out. And so they had to put the most versatile player in the field, or in right field, in left field. And I've watched plenty of games. Caballero gives it his best effort, but as far as like teams taking advantage of it, I saw a couple games where Caballero had plays where he had to make a throw to the plate, and man, he got it out of his glove so fast, off target. So I know teams are coming in and going, hey, we're going to take advantage of this. We're going to take advantage of the fact that, yes, he gets rid of the ball quickly, gets to it quickly, which is admirable to Caballero. But when it's not accurate, teams just keep on running, just keep sending them from third. And so, yes, that's hurting them. But who else are they putting out there? Because they want to play the platoon advantage. And that's how they've built this team. And right now, they don't have – it's not going very well for them, clearly.
Yeah, I mean, you're paying Trent Grisham what, 20-something million dollars with the qualifying offer, something around there, $20 million. You've got him. Let Martian just run for a while. Obviously, Bellinger's going to play every day out there.
What happened to
For
Spencer
me,
Jones? Sorry, I've been gone for 2
yeah,
weeks. What happened to
Swing and
Spencer
miss.
Jones?
A lot of swing and miss.
Wasn't that the thing in the minor leagues about him,
yeah.
that he swung and
You
missed
knew
a
it was
lot?
going to happen. They were hoping. Honestly, I truly believe when they call a guy up like that, and I think even the Giants, when they called up Bryce Eldred, I don't think they were like, Bryce Eldred, he's our guy, because they were only playing him against righties. They're hoping they run into a few balls. No front office executive can show me any numbers that will say, oh, this guy, yeah, he's striking out at a 35% clip in the bushes. Big league pitching, this is the one case where big league pitching is not better. He's going to strike out less. No, they're going to strike out more. Everybody talks about it like, oh, these prospects can't develop because AAA isn't as good as it used to be, or there's just not as much talent in AAA. Where's the talent? It's in the big leagues. Even in games where blowouts, you're still facing dudes that are better than they are in AAA, so you have no chance to just like get your breath and like you have to learn to be a good hitter before you get up to the big leagues, and it didn't work out for Spencer Jones. I think they hoped he was going to steal a bunch of bases and add to some of that athleticism that this roster has, which it hasn't had in other years.
Also, that doesn't mean he can't figure it out in the big leagues. He hasn't had that much time yet.
You have to figure it out in the minor leagues. To me, you have to show me you're not striking out in the bushes against dudes who are the AWRs, throwing 91 to 94 in the starting rotation. And then your bullpen guys are like 92 to 95 with not much great life or secondary stuff. Because if they did, they'd be up in the big leagues. So to me, you have to show me you're making an adjustment, and his numbers have not shown that. So when you call him up, hey, you know what? Bang, go out, hit some homers for us. Hopefully you get it done. Hopefully run into a few till Grisham comes back. And then once Grisham came back, send him back down.
Okay. Well, good luck to them. They're in a pickle right now in many ways, and they might need to acquire some position player talent to help them out here, as crazy as it sounds. All right, let's swing back and hopefully get ready for Hunter Goodman, the All-Star, to join us from the Rockies. Otherwise, we have some other drama to hit on FT.
Drama.
If you wanted more confirmation, Jim Bowden asked John Mozeliak, who is running the Angels front office right now, if he was going to trade Mike Trout to the Phillies at the trade deadline, and he answered emphatically no. Ken Rosenthal also did a one-on-one with Mo a couple weeks ago, and if you read that article, you can see that clearly because he had breakfast or something with Artie Moreno after he got hired, and clearly they went over the big topics like, hey, can I trade assets because you hold on to them for too long? And he might have said, hey, I'll let you do a little bit of that. Let me know. I might change my mind last minute. So you might do 90 hours of work and then get a no from me, but I will at least allow you to do that. Trout is a no, because that's why people still go to Angels games right now, to see the legend.
And I would agree with Artie on that one. I would say don't trade him. I would not agree if I'm a baseball fan, but I also would say everything that Artie's going to do ultimately, and that's why I'm not buying the Mozeliak stuff until I actually see it, is going to be based on money. That's it. It's going to be based on money. You want to make changes? All right, do it. Where are you going to find the money? Because I just built a brand new weight room in Scottsdale for the team. So there's $8 million off of your list that you can use. So you got to find a different way to find some money, is what Artie's going to say.
Yeah, and you have until December.
Where was Mo, by the way?
Nowhere. What do you mean? He was chilling.
He was just sitting at home, and they just called him and said, "You want to be interim GM?"
Correct.
Wow, that's amazing.
He did it
when
before.
I talked to Mo at the end of last year, he's like, "I'm looking for some time off."
He did. He said 8-9 months was enough.
And I know another GM that was.
But so this was in the works, then. Obviously, this was in the works before they fired Perry Manassian, because you don't You don't just fire the GM and say, oh, by the way, we're going to pull John. Normally you say we fired the GM, we're taking the assistant GM and make him the GM. They said, no, we're going to. So John Mozeliak has Artie Moreno's ear a little bit somewhere. Doesn't he have to?
Signed until December so that Artie doesn't have to pay him during the lockout. I kid you not. He is obsessed with not paying people during the lockout. Correct. It's Kurt Suzuki. He's obsessed with like saving some. He's like going to be like
But why would you do this right before it could be one of the most important trade deadlines ever? And you make this move. It just doesn't make it make sense, Kratz. Make it make sense, Scott.
I just don't want to pay people during the lockout. And Artie's going to brag about it to all his friends.
Because Artie likes loud noises. That's why. Yeah, that's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said. We didn't talk a ton about this. It was like kind of a footnote on one of our shows when the Steve Cohen interview went out with him and Joel Sherman and John Heyman, and he talked about how things are getting better between Soto and Lindor. Soto dropped an all-time quote, this from our tweet on FT Twitter, discussing his relationship with Lindor. He said the two are fine. He said, quote, definitely our relationship is getting better because it takes time. When you meet a girl, you don't start kissing her right away. That one made some headlines. But the real headliner here is, AJ, we had, a year of rumors with Lindor and Soto not being BFFs. We spoke about this plenty of times on our show, like they don't have to be best friends. They just can't hate each other. Kratz actually the other day said that could cost you a game or two, though, if the two superstars are butting heads. And then Steve Cohen did confirm on an interview a week ago that the two were not getting along well and that they're in a better place this year. Your thoughts on all of this? Are we still reading too much into this? And also, I mentioned Mike Puma, the writer who initially put this out last year, who was getting roasted. He was right. He put out a story that said those two aren't BFFs, and it's a thing. And he got attacked for it, and he was right.
Yeah. Kratz, you ever play with anybody you weren't BFFs with? I mean, listen, Scott, you don't understand the dynamics of a locker room because you only snuck in there when the guys were coming out of the shower. So you didn't really understand it, how it worked. But there's plenty of fights in locker rooms, even on good teams. Even on good teams, Scott, there were guys that you couldn't jive with. You found common ground because you were on the same team and you wanted to win. But there was plenty of guys you played with where you're like, you know what's funny is a lot of the guys, honestly, and I don't know if Kratz agrees with this, there were guys that I didn't get along with. I won't say wouldn't get along with, but we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of stuff. And then after you don't play with them anymore and you see them down the road, you're actually better friends with them and you get along a little bit better because you're not in the locker room with them every day and you don't have to see them every day. You see them every once in a while. So there's plenty of guys all the time. And listen, I thought Juan Soto handled this pretty good. I thought it was pretty funny. It was a smart little comeback. A snappy little comeback he had about the girl kissing the girl for the first time. So, hey, they're working on it. Maybe they are getting better. Who knows? But at the end of the day, it ain't the fact that Soto and Lindor don't get along well, the Mets ain't winning. There's a lot of problems on that team. I just saw them this weekend. I mean, the center fielder dropped a fly ball. Their defense isn't very good. There's injuries. There's a lot of problems with this Mets team. It ain't that.
Yeah, we're not going to get – we've done a lot of why the Mets aren't winning and why they aren't. But, AJ, have you ever been on a team where the two best players haven't seen eye to eye?
Absolutely, I have.
Yes! That's what makes a team great. That's what makes a team great. Go ahead.
You said last week that it could have caused a game or two to go a different way if there's dissension in the clubhouse last year.
It can, absolutely, because teams are, guys are maybe choosing sides. But if your two best players are just in lockstep, you know what's going to happen? Somebody else is running past you because you're missing things. Like, you need to keep each other accountable. And you also need to make sure it's helping the team get better. Ultimately, nobody's ever going to say, well, the reason that they missed the playoffs was because of the tiff that was going on between Lindor and Soto. No, that's not what I'm saying. It's because they had no starting pitching that went past the fifth inning. Plain and simple, that was it. But little things can cause you to lose games, and ultimately, they missed the playoffs by one game last year. So, yes, there are little things that can cause you to lose games, but that's not why the Mets weren't good.
Yeah,
true. Barry Bonds and Jeff Kent. Barry Bonds and Jeff Kent are both in the Hall of, well, they both should be in the Hall of Fame. One of them's in, the other one should be. They didn't get along, allegedly, but they won plenty of games when they were Giants. They didn't win the World Series, but that was not because those two weren't good. Not because those two didn't get along. I mean, you have to understand that on a team, there are, I don't want to say cliques, but there are groups of people that hang out because they get along better with each other. And there are always constant sniping at each other. It's a clubhouse. It's what makes a clubhouse so fun to be in, because there's always a little bit of this, and there's always, and if you don't have that, then it's what Kratz said, you're not holding each other accountable. If you don't have somebody saying, well, you messed that up, or you screwed this up, or you screwed that up, if everyone's like, oh, way to go, kumbaya, then you're missing stuff. Like Kratz said, that's the best point. You're missing stuff if everyone's getting along, because you're not holding each other accountable. Because if there's not a little bit of back and forth between guys, they're not trying to help you. They're not trying to improve. You're doing great, buddy. You're doing great. It's not like that.
I think you need a guy, and I'm not saying it's me. I'm saying, like, the role that I played was, I had no problem calling out when I'm on the Brewers, Ryan Braun, Christian Yelich, to Lorenzo Cain. When I'm on the Yankees, I have no problem making fun of Giancarlo Stanton, just like I'm going to make fun of Greg Bird. Just random players. You have to be able to, so that the team doesn't look at those guys and go, oh man, if Juan doesn't like, if he doesn't like Francisco, what are we going to do? He plays short. He plays right field. What's going to happen? Is he not going to run as hard? Is he not going to, run the bases when Juan gets a base hit? No, like that's not what's going to happen. But when you have those things that bring guys together, sometimes it takes opposites attract.
Also, if they're getting along better this year, well, I want to go back to last year. Last year, they at least only missed the playoffs by a game. This year, they're probably going to miss the playoffs by like 10 games. This year's worse. They're better friends this year. That kind of sucks. Right now, they're terrible. I mean, like AJ said, the roster.
I don't think they're better friends. I don't think they're better friends. It seems like they're more amicable. They also
both missed a bunch of time this year, so they weren't together every day either.
Frankly,
by the way, can I say something? Did y'all watch the game on Saturday that I had where Tyrone Taylor dropped the fly ball?
No. I didn't see that. Are you talking? Not the Lindor play. That was yesterday, right? Where he went back and then the ball fell.
That was it.
This was different. That was it. Okay, I saw that real quick.
Loaded,
I saw the highlight.
2 outs. Manaya's pitching. Eli White, who, by the way, Eli White owns Sean Manaea. He hits a pop-up behind second base. Lindor goes back, calls it, does everything right. I got it. You're taught. You go until the outfielder calls you off. He stops. Taylor calls him off. He dives out of the way, trying to avoid a collision. Taylor comes in, the ball hits off the tip of his glove. They rule it a double, 3 RBIs, 3-run score, right? And then people are like, oh, Taylor or Lindor messed that up. I'm like, Lindor did not mess that up. People on Twitter, because people on Twitter are funny. Oh, that's Lindor's fault. I'm like, no, it's not Lindor's fault. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. It was actually Taylor's fault. He called him off and then missed the ball. Lindor, I got it. And then he literally dove out of the way to try to avoid a collision. It's amazing how people see different things from different angles. But that just summed up the Mets right there. I mean, they had a chance to get out of that game, out of that inning, and be close. And instead, they give up a 5 spot.
Yeah, well, there's extreme frustration. Yeah,
that's called run prevention.
Call it.
Just so you know, AJ, I didn't know if you guys talked about run prevention at all, because that's a key word.
That's called out prevention right there.
Their defense, by the way, listen, Marcus Semien was playing through a hip tear, I guess, a tear in his hip, which I give him credit for that. But, Marcus Semien, Vientos at first isn't great. I mean, they have Beatty playing second now, who's actually a third baseman. It's like, and actually Bo Bichette, for as much crap as he got, he's doing all right at third base. His numbers aren't bad at third base. He actually is decent at third base.
I know he would be better though at second base, but yes, it's not bad at third base. I think it still has thrown him off a little bit, but I mean the point.
Soto and left is never going to be a Gold Glover.
No,
I mean we all know that, right? I mean Taylor's fine in center. Benj I think is actually better suited in center, or Ewing, whoever the game I did Sale pitch, so they had to sit one of them. They sat Ewing against Sale, which I can't really blame them.
I can't wait till next year when Beatty plays his 6th different position of his career. Like Brett Beatty, this up-and-coming third base prospect. Ronnie Mauricio, no, he's going to take your – no, Vientos is going to take – no, you're going to play first. No, right, left. Third again. No, second base now.
He's going to catch next year.
Dude, don't put that on that man. He looks athletic. Don't let him do that.
He's going to be an all-star on the Tigers in 2 years, something like that. I'm telling you.
As a third baseman.
As a third base, he's got it. It's written. His script will end up somewhere else, and he will shine, and Mets fans will lose their mind. No, the scam here, playing to what AJ's point is, you mentioned run prevention. You kind of hint that you're getting rid of certain players and adding other players to cure that run prevention. It never made sense. It got questioned, and it played out exactly the way that most people thought it would. Right? You're like, why is that guy playing there? That guy's playing there. That guy's playing there. And then you're like, oh, wait, there is no why. It doesn't work, period. That's what happened.
It works. It works in the WAR algorithm. It works if you add enough guys whose projected WAR equals, and you saw it in the preseason projections. That's why I hammered the under with the Mets wins for the year. I think they're projected to win like 89 games. I'm like, I don't think so. I just feel like it's too much, but there was a lot of WAR put together. So projections said, good team. Reality is saying, not a good team.
That's lazy. And it's funny because AJ, he's right. I think the Mets were projected like second based on the WAR on their roster, and the Brewers were very low down the list. And you put the connection with the Brewers and the Mets, and you're like, wait, maybe the Brewers are not just looking at that.
Or maybe WAR isn't the end all be all like people think it is.
Or maybe projections. You have $5 in a projection. You have $5. That's all you have. You have nothing. Let's look at projections next year, what guys are supposed to do, and see who cares.
And the thing for me is, you know what you bought in Juan Soto. Is he going to be the ride or die leader of your team? No. Is he going to put up the same numbers basically every year? Yes. You're good. He's not the problem offensively. Is he going to be a great defender? No. Is he going to steal as much as he did last year without Anton Richardson? No. At first base. Oh. But besides that, the walks, the pop, the whole deal, when he's on the field, like, it's so consistent. So whether they love each other, hate each other, believe in kissing girls on first dates or not, Juan Soto and Francisco Lindor apparently do not need to be best friends for the Mets to be good. They just need a better roster. I'm glad we figured that out. All right. We'll swing back. We'll probably do our locks if we don't hear from Hunter Goodman by then.
Could you still see them, Craig, maybe being creative, looking at possible deals for Chapman, maybe even Sonny Gray, despite how amazing he's been, especially last night. Other veterans that are maybe coming up on free agency. I don't know. What sense are you getting? Even it is a little far away, but what are you thinking right now?
Yeah, well, first of all, you have to have a good feel for what you have. Like Aroldis Chapman, to start with him, is that he hasn't been the same guy. And you got to figure out what he's going to be the rest of the way. Unfortunately for them, even if they want to trade him, if you keep getting this version of him, teams aren't going to give you what you need to get. It's almost worth holding on to him. I don't know. But it's a great analogy or great example by you with the Tigers. And if the Red Sox do that, they're going to be crucified if they're close at all. That's just how it is. But at the same time, like, this is the Sonny Gray thing. If you get back what you desperately need in this organization, which is, for me, a legit prospect who is a potential star as a hitter, right? That's what you want. Like, this organization has a ton of pitchers, but because they haven't drafted a lot of position players and they don't really have a lot of guys coming up not named Franklin Arias. And okay, Justin Gonzalez is like 19 years old. That's fine. But if you can get that guy for a Sonny Gray, why trying to continue to fill things in? Then I'm not adverse to that, because you still have Ranger Suarez, you still have Peyton Tolle, you still have Conley Early, you still have these other guys. And another thing that they have to factor in, which is, okay, what does the rest of the year look like for Roman Anthony and Garrett Crochet? And I think for Crochet, it's a little bit more dicey, where, that's a tricky thing, man. Like, the Crochet is a longer term deal. Like, this is you do not want to rush this guy back for a playoff run that's never going to happen. You just don't. So if you don't have Crochet and you trade Gray, yeah, you're going to thin yourself out. But if it's worth getting something that you don't have and you desperately need, then you should do it.
That MGM Locks, I mean, what a year. I'm like getting emotional about it, Kratz. Kratz has his ladder challenge going. He's on his last step, which I'm excited to hear about. Ross Stripling won the other night. I pulled off a crazy one-run win with the Guardians. That was a good series, Guardians and White Sox, by the way. It ended up being a split, and Pap lost his parlay, but 3 out of 4 really, really strong performances lately. As you can see, Moneybags is lit up. Even for AJ, I mean, obviously he's not that far back, but we've got some people. I mean, freaking Erik Kratz is in 4 figures right now, AJ, and I'm just about there too, doing small bets. Obviously, you've got guys like Todd Father throwing down big cash. He's up big, but it's just been an awesome first half. And whatever, you can say I'm jinxing things and all that. Knock on wood. You're going to go through highs and lows, but I just wanted to say good first half so far from the boys. Kratz is going to go first because he's in a ladder challenge, and this is the last step of the ladder, correct?
What's that? Wait, I don't know what that is.
Start with
Explain.
50. Start with $50, and then you win. You take what you won plus the 50. You add it to the next day. So you do 6 steps, and you get to $1,000. Fortunately for us, we hit a bigger bet early in it, so you'll be able to pocket some of it. All you got to do tonight is put down 616. You won 755 last time, okay? 755 is what we were up to, total winnings for the whole time. So you put 616 down for the Dodgers to win and for the over to be 5 runs or more in this game. 5 runs or more, it'll take us to $1,001 for the ladder challenge. Went from $50 to $1,001.
Wow. It's impressive. And I'll piggyback off that because I'm picking that game. I'm just doing something different. I just have Dodgers run line 2 or more. I mean, I got to pick the Eric Lauer start, right? And you're getting close enough to even money for the Dodgers to win by 2 runs or more at home. Team's playing well, obviously. I think they've won, 36 out of 50. Like, they're in one of those real nice 1.5-month surges, and they're going to do it tonight with a guy that anybody could have had on the mound. AJ, what do you have for us?
I got overs tonight. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't paying that much attention for the last couple weeks. I was kind of busy, but I know the Nats still score a lot of runs. They still give up a lot of runs. So over 9.5 in the Nats game at Astros. And then the Padres and Diamondbacks over 8.5 in that. It's that gets me to plus 252. So that almost get me back to even.
I like that.
There you go. There's your locks. Just unique ways that you can do this, right? Parlays, just one pick for me, and then Kratz's ladder challenge. Do what you want with it. And tonight is a big night. It is Team USA matching up against Belgium. And when the U.S. scores, you can win a share of $500,000 in bonus bets for every U.S. goal. So place a $5 or more pre-match bet on any World Cups game match with the U.S. playing, which is tonight. Apply your goal rush token. And for every goal scored by the U.S. in the match, you win a share of $500,000 in bonus bets that are split among all eligible winners after the match. AJ, what's going to happen tonight?
But USA is winning. Are you kidding me? USA is winning, especially after they got the red card rescinded. President called over there. There's a lot of waffle makers that are pissed in Belgium right now that they got that made. So Flo Balogun and Kristen Pulisic. Flo Balogun might get a hat trick. He's going to stomp all over those waffles. So he's going to stomp them. He might go hat trick tonight, but they're going to win, and I think they're going to win pretty easy. It's going to be awesome. Seattle's going to be rocking. And by the way, if you add the USA plus 140 to my already parlay, it goes to plus 746. So if you're feeling frisky, you could go to plus 746 tonight.
Ooh, soccer baseball combo. Very nice. All right.
Yeah.
So for those watching tonight, enjoy it.
How do you not think the U.S. is going to win in Seattle? I mean, by the way, and I don't know if y'all watch soccer, but that England-Mexico game last night was sick. Oh my gosh,
unbelievable!
What a
unbelievable! Best.
I tip my cap to England.
Yes, best goalie I've seen. Best goalie performance I've seen in the World Cup.
I watched most of the Norway match too, and I thought, I mean, that was obviously it was nothing for a while, but then the last like 20 minutes of that game, dude, that guy's Thor. He looks like Thor.
He just sits there, and then everyone does all the work, and then they kick it to him one time, and he scores. Like they get it to him. He touches the ball like 5 times a game, and he scores like 80% of the time he touches the ball. It's awesome.
Right. He's the guy. He's the striker. All right. So everyone enjoy that tonight, and we will swing right back with Slap Hands.
When he is enemy number one, he plays that villain card very well. He is not afraid of that villain card. And as a teammate, I liked it. As an opponent, I was like, this guy, here we go again. So it is exactly what you think. It's, hey, when he's on your side, you love him because you know his heart. You know what he's about. He's about winning, and he's about leaving it all on the field. Sometimes it gets a little too much. And that's when it explodes, and he can't, the anger and the emotion goes a little too high, and it causes ejections and or blow-ups that are hard to control and will cause issues with the other team. So I think you're seeing a little bit of hey, maybe they're not having the best season. He's also just kind of who he is, and certain things light him up. And when he gets lit up, there's no stopping it until the fire finally burns out. And I think this series with Washington is kind of one of those things where, maybe he'll fizzle out now that the series is over, and he'll be good to go again, and then he'll regroup. But, I think the worst time we saw him was in Chicago, right? When he wanted to go back to the Cubs, and he just wants to prove everybody that doubted him or has issues with him wrong, which is a great way for him to play. But also at times it might cause some issues. And as a teammate, I didn't have a problem with it. As an opponent, you're just like, all right, well, he's going to do something. Just don't pay attention to it and try not to let it become a thing.
And Willson Contreras apparently was in tears apologizing for his role in the incident last year, actually multiple incidents, right? Last week, Yankees and then Nationals as well. He said, very emotional time for me. Those situations could have been avoided and controlled and handled better. And we definitely get playful with Contreras, but also that a lot of people died in an earthquake in Venezuela. So people are going through it right now, and everybody reacts differently. Did you guys see the Dodgers catcher who made his debut this weekend, and he lost his sister and his stepmom? Freaking crazy.
AJ, you remember his dad? Do you remember playing against him?
Who was his dad?
I mean, his name's Eliezer Alfonso, but he came up and made a big splash with the Giants, like quick. He was my time period in the bushes and played against him. I remember I was excited to watch him play, and I mean excited to watch his son play. But man, finding that out and then making your big league debut, crazy.
Oof.
Let's slap, shall we? Well, welcome back, everyone. We did take a Friday live show off, but we are cranking, leading right into the All-Star game. A couple reminders, too. We have a new Rockies show, and that is called Mile High Territory. So if you're a Rockies fan, go that way. We'll try and figure out where Hunter Goodman was. Maybe we can get him on tomorrow. But Mile High Territory, subscribe to the show on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, or both. Also, All-Star announcement we did at the top of the show. If you missed that, you can rewind back and see where we're going to be. I'll leave it at that, but we'll be in Philadelphia dancing around. One note we didn't get to, because I had talked about him quite a bit, and it certainly wasn't a glorious return, but I'm sure the Reds are still happy to have Hunter Green back, AJ. He's not going to give up 8 runs every outing, but he is back now for Cincinnati, and they've been very mid. Yeah, they've been very mid.
And they got Pagan back, and he danced around some raindrops, but ended up getting a save. That's huge for them.
There was a point where they didn't have their best position player, their best starting pitcher, and their best closer for a few weeks. It might seem
they're too far behind
dreary
for me.
You think so?
The teams in front of them aren't going to have a full-on collapse like the Mets did last year. I'm sorry. The Brewers are in. The Dodgers are in. The Mets and Phillies are in. There's 4 already, right? The Cubs.
The Braves and Phillies. Yeah.
Sorry, Braves and the Mets are out. Yeah, but then you have to deal with the Marlins. You have to deal with the Cubs. You have to deal with the Cardinals. I mean, the Reds. I mean, I think Kirk Herbstreit said it best when he's like, "Why do the Reds do this every year?" In his tweet, I don't know if you saw his tweet storm he was on, but it was kind of funny.
Yeah, the Reds are 7 back of a wild card. That's definitely
behind how many teams though?
A lot of teams: the Padres, Diamondbacks, Nationals, Pirates. Until you finally get to the Marlins and Cardinals, who are tied for the 3rd wild card spot right now, with the Phillies and the Cubs ahead of them. So it's going to be a fun National League race. And some of these teams are going to fall off, right? I mean, it's been a great ride for the Cardinals, Marlins, Pirates, and Nationals. At least 2 of those teams are not going to be involved in September. Would you agree? Where they'll be like 5 to 10 games out, and we'll be like, all right, they had a nice run for half the year.
Yeah, fair. And it'll be a positive. A lot of them will take it as a positive for their season. Oh, see, we made steps forward.
The Nationals are the obvious choice there, right? Oh, look how much better we did than we thought.
Look at all the innovations we had with our hitting. We bought 3 Traject machines, and look what it did. And now we got to buy the Traject version of an entire starting rotation.
Speaking of which, their former longtime GM, Mike Rizzo, is scheduled to join us on Tuesday's show, 2:20 Eastern time.
Mike Find Rizzo out why you didn't buy a Traject.
I like Riz. I always like Riz.
I do too. And he won a title for them. He did a lot of great things there.
Oof.
Back for a few more minutes, and then Dodgers Territory is going to have a live show popping up at 3:00 Eastern. We talked about snubs on the other side, teams that showed up, of course, 5 All-Stars each for the Phillies, the Braves, the Dodgers. On the American League side, you had 4 All-Stars for the Yankees, the Blue Jays, and the Rays showed up with 4 All-Stars. Pretty good.
All deserved.
Well deserved, yes. Although Aranda didn't get in.
That's what I was trying to think of the 4th. I was trying to think of the 4th. I could pull the list.
I know who you're probably missing. Wait,
Rasmussen, Baker.
No, right. Baker, Rasmussen, and Yandy. Oh, and then Caminero.
I thought you were going to forget Brian Baker, but Baker got in.
Yeah.
Rasmussen, we were big on that trade last year.
AL first base is tough, especially when Vlad gets in.
Right.
And he's already out. Yeah, Vlad's out now with the back. So maybe that's a little break for Vlad.
How can you play in the regular season, but then you can't play in the All-Star game?
Your back is not going to be good in a week?
Yeah.
Oh, I know who we can ask. Every Astros player over the last decade that would sit out the All-Star game and not want to hear the boos. I'm sorry, it's true. We barely seen Astros players for years. Now you keep moving along and there's guys that are separated enough, but there was a time period for a while where they would do anything they could to get out of that situation. It's true.
Take your word for it, Scott.
Even last year, Isaac Paredes had the itis from it, and he had no affiliation with that stuff back then.
Piatus.
He didn't have the hamstring?
He had the no to the All-Star game. He wasn't on the IL at the time. You just said no.
Too much rest.
A lot of rookies in. McGonigal.
That's why I
mostly
didn't-
on the AL side.
That's why I didn't play good in the first half of seasons, so that I wouldn't make the All-Star team. I wanted that. For
Exactly. I'm glad you did that for everyone. But Bazzana get in, McGonigal, Parker Messick, Hal Stewart, some good names that are in. Rookies.
Rookies.
We're excited. Kratz hat's on the way out.
I mean, I was wearing it because Hunter was coming on the show, but
No, you were wearing it for Spilly.
yes, because Mile High is part of the. We should have Mile High should be on every single day at 4:20. That should be the time that it comes on, so that people definitely check out Spilly and Troy.
I was in Denver over the weekend.
Yeah, you were, Scott.
I'm going to leave it at that.
Did you see Dead's Dead this weekend? Scott?
I read Rocked. It was so good. Yeah.
Red Rock.